Hi guys, welcome back to my lesson series again. Last time we were coding some of the form elements and I explained you about the input type text and radios and checkboxes, and there are still more options to explore. So what I will do is, in today's lesson we can cover the text area, the select drop down, and the button. When people wrote all the details and selected everything, they would obviously like a button where somewhere on the page where they can click and send the detail. So what I will do is I will quickly go back to my sort of coding window. I can minimize that and minimize this, and I can quickly bring up the page we were coding last time, which was this. And as you can see, if I move a little bit down into the area, okay, so this was the last time this was the page we did last time. So what we can do is, if I save, we can start it from there. So if I go and make, for example, if I want to add a few more options, for example, I want to give a drop down a person to select how did they know about us. First of all, we can give a sort of title at the top of the page, HTML forms, so it makes more sense. HTML forms, so that title comes up onto that. You can give it in a real page, you can say contact us title. Also you can create a sort of a real Google map area onto the contact us page, which I can show you in future lessons when we make a real project, how you can add a Google map onto the top of the contact us page, and so that people can see where you are actually located. We were doing something else here. So what we can do is, first we can, excuse me, we can give a user an option to select how did you hear about us, and we can create a sort of drop down. We can say select, and in a select we can provide options like they hear from, they Google something and that website came up, and you can give a value and that value will be submitted into the form. And you can ask, say Google, and obviously you can say give 3, 4, 5 more options, for example Google, Yahoo, or through an email newsletter, email newsletter letter, and you can say via social media. Some people post things onto their social media channels, and that's how they build up their audience, social media marketing. And last thing is others. Maybe you can provide, maybe people don't want to, they don't come through any of the channel and they can this way. So what you can obviously provide the name to this is area of sorry, the how did you hear about us. This is quite a long name, but good thing about names you should keep in mind is you should give self-explanatory name to your project coding side of things, because what happens, what I felt in my career is you make a one website and you move on to another one. For example, there are a few sites I done in 2013 or 14. So if for somebody comes back from those websites and asks me to make some changes, and if I don't give a self-explanatory names to my variables and my coding and divs and in PHP, and so that sort of project is not easy to manage or update, where your names and your naming conventions don't really make any sense. For example, if instead of Google, if I write 7x78652 or something else, or name of the this for example gender variable, this is my input or something, that's not a sort of self-explanatory name to a gender sort of field. So it's good to follow some heuristics in terms of the naming convention, so always use self-explanatory name. That was a little tip. So let's see how our input looks onto the page. So as you can see, how did you hear about us, and they can select Google or Yahoo or newsletter or any option, and that goes there. Other thing people might also ask you to add onto the page is the where they can write a message. So what you can do is you can create a sort of area, your, for example, your message, sort of instruction for them to write. You already know how to write P, so you can make use of the previous tags you learn, and you can write text area. Make sure you write the same spelling, otherwise it's not going to work. Text area, and within the text area you can provide the parameters like the for example the width of, let's use some of the old, because the overall width of the container I created 80%, or I'm keeping the inputs to 500 pixels, so let's keep it to 500 pixels to make our design consistent. Then you can provide a name to this area, and name is going to be message, and then you can provide the rows, for example, like how many, I'll explain you what are the rows and what are the columns in the text area. Text area basically how many rows and columns you want people, the space on the screen, how much. You can give it to 5, and let's see what kind of text area we have created for ourselves. If you see, I gave 5 column and 10 rows. Rows is going the down way. If you see, it's a bit longer, 10 rows and 5 ends. The column is ending here 5. So if I add, for example, 50 columns, so what it will do is it will make the text area a bit bigger. Good thing is you can always drag from the corner the text area and make it as long as you want, but some people, they put some restrictions, some website, like how long message they want to receive. So this is how you add the text area. But one thing is, you probably didn't notice, the text area width is not same as the top one. So what I will do is if I save width equal to 500, how much did we calculate? 500, my input. So you can, that should work as an attribute. Let me just because maybe I restricted the columns, so it's going with that. It's not, if I give a class here and I say my input, that's the class we created. We don't need to create a new class, it's only a width and padding we are adding. So if I give a class, sorry, this is not right way. If I just remove this and say class, it should make the width same as the above. So if I refresh, that's the way you do it. If you see that it's making it made the width 500 equal to that one. So this is the form we created a text area as well, where they can write hi all, my name is Hasib and blah 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 blah. You can write a long message. Now when it comes to send this whole form, when somebody fills out, and how you send that, you add a button at the end of the form. I can show you how you can create a button. You don't need to give a title to button. You can just write in, you can write one line break, and then after that you can say input, and input type this time is uh, submit, because we want this form to be not some bit, submit. It has to be right, otherwise it's not going to work when you write the PHP. And you can give a name to this button. You can call it send message, and or you can call it submit or anything. You can give a value to this as send your message, or just call it send message. So if you refresh the page, that button should come up, as you can see at the bottom. If I just move the page up, as you can see, that button is here, and it's a clickable button. When I click, it comes back onto the index page. As you can see, the action page is defining the action of the pages on index. That's why it's keep coming up onto that. So this is a basic sort of form where you can use the you can write something, you can add radio box or check boxes or drop downs, and this, what you can do is you can explore more form elements. And what I will do is, when we make a real project, we will create a form with the basic these inputs, and when we excuse me if we press the button, that form will send an email right onto our email box, whatever email address you provide when we cover the PHP part of it. So when you press that, it sends an email in your inbox, and I'll tell you how you're gonna do that. So I think this video is again a bit too long. I will stop my video here, and I'll come back with the more tutorials. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to receive the latest videos and updates. Thank you very much for watching.